The effect has been that of the 15 steps that we urged action on, Israel has taken action, either in implementing or being in the process of implementing 12 of the 15 steps.
So the letter says enable a minimum of 350 trucks per day to enter Gaza, and this is in the context of a letter that says you've got 30 days to do it, and failure to demonstrate a commitment to this may have implications under US law.
As the letter makes clear, there are implications under US law to the delivery of humanitarian assistance, and Israel doing everything that it can to ensure that the delivery of humanitarian assistance is not impeded. And I'm not going to get into hypotheticals, but it does make clear that there are implications under US law. But our hope is that Israel will take the step.
And why the 30 days?
The United Nations says an average of 37 trucks a day events.
As you can see, in the month of October, you can see basically on this graph, based on your own statistics, that the aid going into Gaza is virtually non-existent. This isn't the actions of Hamas. This is the actions of the Israeli government.
You keep saying you're not going to speak to specific metrics, but you guys are the ones that made those specific. We didn't. We didn't give the Israelis 30 days to do all this stuff. You guys did. And now those 30 days are up. And as you've heard from everyone so far, and these aid groups that came out last night, they haven't met them. And all of a sudden you say that the metrics that you put out don't matter.
So in principle, you can declare that agreement to be null and void if it does not fit into your...
Saeed, I'm not going to get too far into parsing the law from here, as I'm not a lawyer, but yes, we have the ability to enforce U.S. law, of course.
Okay, good.
What?
You really think that you have the ability to declare the null and void, the MOU that was signed?
I did not say null and void. We have the ability
no, that's what he said, and you said, I'm not going to get into it.
So
I don't think you do. I think you're walking a fine line here.
People comply with the Foreign Assistance Act
you need to rule in or rule it
requirements.
Out. Because if you...
No.
So it could
this
be
goes back.
somewhere in the middle.
This goes back to the conversation that you and I had at the beginning of this, which
yeah,
I know.
You just left the door open to you saying that you could declare, that the administration could declare the MOU that was signed took effect in 2019 and is valid until 2028 could be declared null and void.
I very much did not.
I don't think that's correct, but that's what you implied.
That is not at all what I implied or said. Yeah, we have obligations under our own laws to ensure that countries that are the recipients of U.S. military assistance don't block the delivery of humanitarian assistance, don't impede the delivery of humanitarian assistance.
I'm not sure I understand what your obligations are under the law, and it sounds like you might not either.
I do fully understand.
Let me be very clear about both the intent and the effect of the letter that Secretary Austin and I sent a month ago to our Israeli counterparts. The intent was to inject a sense of urgency with Israel to take necessary steps to address the dire humanitarian situation of children, women, and men in Gaza. The effect has been that of the 15 steps that we urged action on, Israel has taken action, either in implementing or being in the process of implementing 12 of the 15 steps.
As of today, the situation has not significantly turned around. Stipulated recommendations in the letter, those have not been met at this point.
So that's a fail.
We're not at the end of the period yet. What we ultimately judge on, which is the results on the ground, the results are not good enough today.
Right. No. So that's a fail.
They certainly do not have a passing grade. They have failed. I said they have failed to implement all of the things that we recommend in that letter.
We want to see, along with the humanitarian assistance that's getting in, commercial trucks getting in with commercial goods. This is vital because so many of the things that the commercial truckers bring in, including things like fruits and vegetables, are absolutely essential to the balanced nutrition for people in Gaza. That in turn is critical to making sure they have the immunities they need to fight off disease. And that's not something normally the humanitarians do. This comes in through commercial means. The challenge there, in terms of restoring commercial trucking, has been a huge problem of lawlessness and looting.
If Israel controls everything for fighting, why they don't control this gang? Why they if they are really care about human being and humanitarian assistant? Why they control that?
It's a question for the government of Israel. You should direct to them. We want to see an increase in an improvement in the security situation, but when that is straight up a question for the government of Israel.
Armed gangs profiteering increasing due to conditions set by Israel.
Right now, there are 900 trucks that are inside of Gaza at Kerem Shalom, but backed up, they can't be distributed because of this looting and because of the criminality.
Why they don't control this gang?
Israel has responsibilities to do that. An agreement on a hostage and ceasefire deal. Hamas, tragically, has demonstrated that it's not going to engage on that, despite the renewed efforts we've made in recent weeks. It's one of the reasons why Qatar has told them to leave Qatar.
The Foreign Ministry has also said media reports saying it's asked Hamas to close its political office in Doha are not accurate.
The hard bottom line truth is also this. Even with all of these steps, the situation is so difficult and so dramatic that to fully redress it, to fully answer the needs of people, the best way to do that is to end the war. And from my perspective, what we've seen is this. Israel, by the standards it set itself, has accomplished the goals that it set for itself, the strategic goals it set for itself. It was rightly determined to make sure, to the best of its ability, that October 7th could never happen again. And to do that, it said that it needed to dismantle the military organization of Hamas and to get the leadership that was responsible for October 7th. It's done both.
In a statement, the Qatari Foreign Ministry denied media reports it's withdrawing from the process, but said Qatar will resume efforts when the parties show their willingness and seriousness to end the brutal war and the ongoing suffering of civilians. The ministry said Qatar will not be blackmailed and that ongoing negotiations can't be used as an excuse to continue the war on Gaza.
The responsibility that Israel has in terms of making sure that assistance to the best of its ability can get to people who need it is an ongoing responsibility. Israel has to meet these responsibilities, and we will be tracking this every single day. I would note, though, as well, that it's extraordinary to me that as from almost day one, there is no focus on Hamas and almost deafening silence around the world on Hamas. Not only has it rejected engaging on the hostage ceasefire proposals, not only has it rejected even smaller proposals that would have cost it nothing to release a small number of hostages and actually have Palestinian prisoners released from Israeli jails in return. Not only that, but a couple of weeks ago, Israel said, we will guarantee safe passage for every Hamas militant out of Gaza, just give us the hostages back. And they refused. Is anyone talking about that?